Welcome back, everybody. This is the same day as I did this stuff at my mom's house, but I decided to make this into two separate videos just because I don't want to make all these tree stand setup videos one just really long video. I'd like to break it up into three separate parts so you guys don't get too confused on where we're at. This is a private piece of land that I've gained permission through over the years, and right here we're at the first stand that I have. I'm actually going to move a tree stand today, and I got to check a couple other ones. So I got cameras in here that I'm going to check as well. I call this stand the Model T stand. Not that this is a Model T vehicle, but there's an old rotten truck right here, so I always call it the Model T stand. I don't know. But we have a ladder stand right back up here in that cherry tree. Or, yeah, I guess it's a cherry. And this is just a open area right here. There's a field out this way, and then there's a big bedding swamp right to the back end of this stand. This swamp is actually going to be on the southeast corner off of this stand. So southeast of this stand is the big bedding area. Wind's coming from like this, blowing it right out towards the open field, and the big bedding area is behind me, and you catch deer coming through and scent checking this, and I'm on the opposite side of where they're trying to scent check. So I have a camera right here that usually produces pretty good every single year. I just pulled that card, and there had, I don't know, I think there's like 150 pictures on it or something. But right here is just a really good transition spot. There's more open hardwoods on the other side of this greenery right here. This is kind of just an open, wet swale that leads up to the swamp that's off the southeast corner here. So that's this stand, really simple. It's just a simple trail setup stand. I'm hunting this trail right here. This trail is about 30 yards from the stand, so I'm not right on top of it. And I don't like to be right on top of anywhere that I'm expecting deer to come from, just because I don't want to be the center focal point of where that deer is coming to. I want to be off to the side where I can get away with some more movement. So, and I don't want to be in line with the trail either. I want to be parallel with it, so when the deer's coming up the trail, you know, their focus is mainly straight ahead and I'm off to the side. It helps you get away with some more stuff. And this tree has a whole bunch of extra limbs, branches, trunks, and you can see there's the platform of the it's just a simple ladder stand, and you can see how well you'd be able to hide up there with all that extra junk. So that covers something that I look for every time that I do a tree stand, just to break up my outline and silhouette. So that's it for this spot. We're gonna head over to the next one. The next one's actually not too far away. Kind of have a line of stands through here, and then the one after that is actually the one that we're gonna move. So stay tuned, and please subscribe if you guys haven't. I have a personal goal this year. By the end of 2021, I want to try to hit 1,000 subscribers. It's a huge goal of mine, but the only way I can do it is bring you guys good video content, informative content, and step my game up. So I bought this camera. I got some new camera arm. I got some new equipment. I'm trying to get better at these videos. Let me know what you guys think of them. But please help me out and just go down and hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. Keeps me motivated to keep making these videos every time somebody subscribes, and I have a personal goal to try to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So help me out, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys at the next tree stand. I'm on my way to this next spot, but I just come across something even cooler. This is the second one I've actually found this year so far. Four-wheeler's just over there, and just on beyond it is actually that stand that I'm taking down. This is awesome. What do you guys see this? This is the second one I found this year. Look at this. As fresh as you can get. Right there. It's on the back side of this tree too. And then even right here on this tree. Just awesome. And actually, oh, I thought that was a piece of velvet, but velvet's coming off. Look at, he even got that tree right there. So velvet's coming off. I should have him on this camera right here. And I also should kill him out of this stand right up here. That's really cool to see. That'll get you fired up in a heartbeat. This is really cool. So that's the second rub that I've actually found this year. And it's what, we're 1 week into not even a whole week in September yet. So hopefully these cameras will show me what buck that did that, because the camera's literally right here. I have it on this main trail that comes up by this stand, but I had the camera up in a tree aimed down, so they wouldn't see it right here. But next stand I have is actually just over here a little ways. But the buck that I'm thinking that probably did that is a buck that I'm calling Towers. He's just a giant 8-pointer. He's got really tall, big frame, and he's probably, I shouldn't say he's a giant 8-pointer. He's a 4-year-old and he's probably about a 130. But regardless, he's probably, in this woods, he's definitely the biggest buck that I actually have on camera. There's one other buck that's running around here that we're trying to make a pact not to shoot him, but it's going to be tough to tell that buck apart and this buck apart, so we'll see. But that's really cool. Let me pull this card real quick and I'll show you this tree stand that's just over here a little bit, and then I got another card I want to pull down towards the creek, about another 200 yards in here. Then we're going to go move that tree stand, pull one last card, and then we're going to go look at some more stands and just check them, but then we'll be out of here. So I'll get this done and I'll turn you back on. We're at this next tree stand. I'm actually not going to go up in the tree stand just because I feel you can get a much better feel or realization of what I'm actually trying to talk about in a specific spot, because once you get up there it's kind of hard to see right now with all the leaves on the tree. But the stand's right up there, pretty tall stand, but this is actually the stand that I killed my biggest buck ever out of, 135-inch 9-pointer, and I killed him right here at 15 yards. But this stand right here is in a poplar tree, and I've already replaced the straps and checked all the stands and the sticks and everything. We're all good to go. But this stand right here in particular is in a really good spot. There's a huge bedding area straight off behind me, and it's a swamp too. It's kind of the same swamp that I talked about in the first stand, but it's straight behind the stand to the straight east. So with that bedding area being back there, there's also a bedding area to the south. I know I'm spinning around, it's going to kind of get a little confusing, but that's why I'm using directions. So there's bedding to the south, and there's a big bedding area to the east. Those are the two main bedding areas that are in here. But as you can see here, this you can see where these pine trees are, and this edge right here, this creates an edge through this woods. And that year I killed that buck, he come right up this edge, he come right down through here, and there's a trail just over here. I'll just show you guys. There's a trail right here. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but right here is the trail that he took, and I ended up killing him right here, 15 steps from the stand. You guys might be able to see it better here, but they use this trail and it kind of splits. One goes this way and the other one goes this way, and then there's another trail that crosses off of this and actually goes back up this way. So right here there's a congregation of trails that meet up 15 yards away from this stand. There's deer that use the edge of these pine trees that come up from this way. There's deer that use the edge of these pine trees to come up this way, and they all meet right here to go back to that big bedding area to the straight east of this stand. And then over on this other side towards the north of this stand, there is a few trails that come up through. There's another pine stand down here, but there's a few trails that come up down through there, and a lot of the deer will run the edge of this other pine thicket going north-south as well, so I can see them deer cross out in front of me. But this stand is a really good spot. That rub that I just found is less than 50 yards away from here, and I told you I kind of had a line of stands through here. I'm kind of breaking that line up. I'm only going to have the 2 stands here now, and then I'm going to have one that's off down further. And the one that I'm moving off down further is actually catching these trails at the point where they come out of the bedding on the south side. So I have point of entry here on the east side bedding, but I'm going to also have a stand down on the far side to catch where the deer are coming in and out of the south end bedding area. So if that all makes sense, on a southwest predominant wind, comes up through here, blows everything off towards the northeast, and it totally covers me here, and then over there it's going to be blowing it towards an open field and a big giant rock pile where the deer never go. So predominant winds are good for these 2 setups, and I can catch all the deer coming through here. So that's this stand setup. It's a really good spot. It's probably one of my favorite spots to hunt here, if not my favorite. But there's one other stand way up in the back of this property. It's almost 3/4 of a mile back. Not quite 3/4. I think it's like 0.6 miles back there. And that stand is by far my favorite stand on this property. I've sat there, I've seen 9 bucks in one day last year, I think. There's a whole video on that if you go back and watch it. Maybe I'll link that right up here. If you guys want to go watch that video, go ahead and go watch that video. It's a pretty good one. I actually thought I was gonna have, I can see another rub right here. Let me spin you guys around and show you. I didn't walk 20 yards from that stand. Right there in the center of the screen, there's another rub. Okay, that tells me, and there's right here along this edge, you can see the stand is right up there, and I was just standing down there talking. That's that other edge that goes off, and here's this edge that come down the side. Look at the deer tracks in here. Big old deer tracks with a big trail coming this way. So this spot is going to be dynamite again this year. This is always a fantastic spot. I love hunting here. You can actually see the trail. It comes up right there through them little swamp weeds, right along this edge. Right there's the trail, here's the edge. This is a fantastic spot. I've always liked this spot. But I'm gonna grab this camera card real quick. I gotta actually remember where the heck I put it. And then we're gonna move that other stand, go back and check the other 2 stands that I have up in the farther back and the creek stand, and then we'll be out of here. So stay tuned, everybody. Like I said before, please hit that subscribe button. Help me hit that 1,000 subscriber goal that I have for myself this year, and I'm gonna try to find this camera. I showed you that last set. I showed you them buck rubs, and I told you I was gonna be moving a stand. I have the stand moved. Let me tell you, I'm really excited about this spot. It's not very high up. It's probably only 15 feet up, but I don't want to really get too high up here. You guys can see the steps going up. The stand's right up there. As you guys can see, it's got a pretty thick understory down in here. A lot of small trees, a lot of saplings. So if I were to go up real high, that would cut down on my shooting lanes. But this stand is going to be in a perfect spot. I have a camera here on video mode, and I checked this camera, let's say about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago. And I just checked it again now. There's like 350 videos on it in just a week and a half, and I got some pretty good video of a couple of nice bucks here last time. So I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what we got going on here. This stand is bumped right up to a bedding area. It's not in it, it's bumped right up on the edge of it, and there's a hard edge right here of habitat diversity. This is where a lot of the deer are bedding, and this is where I'm hunting these deer. Where the stand was before was back off to the northeast a little bit, and what was happening is you were seeing a lot of deer from that stand, but the shot opportunities were kind of limited, because when they come out of this is the point where all these deer are coming out of. One of these trails goes right to where the stand was, and that's why I had the stand set up there. it was the most major trail out of the three, so I set up on it. But right here is the focal point of where these deer are coming out of this bedding area, and there's 3 trails that come out. So instead of me just setting up on the main trail and watching deer move all around me when they have all the room in the world to go around me, I decided to take that stand down this year, move it over here to the southwest a little bit, and get right here on top of where these deer are coming out of this bedding area. So no matter what trail they take, they're coming right by this stand. There's 2 main trails that come out of here. The first one comes out of this stuff right here, comes right underneath these pine trees, and crosses this little laneway right here, and then goes down to where I just checked that last camera. The other trail, so right here is that laneway where the deer are coming down through, where I get a lot of the videos. My stand is right up there. You guys can see it. So you can see I just got to trim a couple of these little limbs back. And then the other big trail that comes through here actually comes out in front of the stand. I don't have to trim nothing here to get shots at this major trail right here. So basically all I did here was take a stand that was overlooking one of 3 trails and just brought it out to the focal point of where the deer are going in and out of here, and just narrowed down the room that the deer have to go around me. You guys can see, hopefully, you got major trail coming down through right there, crosses this log, comes up through here, and then it actually goes up towards some older hardwoods. And from right here, you can see the stand up in the tree right there. That is about a 25-yard shot to this trail. So I got the stand down, moved it over here. I went from hunting one single trail to all 3 trails at the focal point where these deer are coming in and out of this bedding area. I should have did this last year. I knew I should have, and I just never did. Now I got it here, and I'm glad I have it here now. So that's this new stand. I have 3 more stands I got to check here. I'm done with cameras. I don't have any cameras way up and back yet. Once season rolls in, I'll start getting cameras way up in the back. But I try to really stay out of there as much as possible. The only reason I'm going up there right now is because I want to make sure my stands are still standing and that they're safe. The straps haven't been chewed on or wore out or anything like that. So I got to go check them at least once. Let's head back there. We got 2 stands to check before we get there. And the first stand will be the creek stand. So we'll see you at the creek stand. We are at the creek stand, or what I call the creek stand. Sorry, as I'm getting deeper in here, the bugs are getting worse and worse. As you guys can, well, I'll kind of show you here. You got a creek that runs down right here, and then it kind of swoops around, and then there's another kind of side creek here that runs into it, and then it all goes into one, and then it runs north on this property. And this actually is the same creek that runs all the way down to my grandparents' property, where I had some of the food plots this year, and I put up that first video of. So this stand here is another focal point of where deer are coming out of the south bedding area. This property, this property pretty much runs off of the east and more or less the south bedding area. All my stands are pretty much set up to be hunting deer coming to and from the south bedding area and in transition in between. The south bedding area is huge. There's a lot going on in there. There's a ton of deer in there, and when the pressure's on, that's where the deer go. Right here, I'm standing to the straight south. There's a trail that follows down. Hopefully you guys, I don't know, it's not a very prominent trail because we're in the kind of hardwoods, but it kind of comes like this and comes straight down and then comes right up through here, right next to the stand, and it actually crosses right here behind the stand. You guys can kind of see this little spot right here, and they come back right here, and right here you guys can probably see the trail much better. It comes right here, and then it goes off and actually angles up in the general direction of that new stand I just hang. or hung. Right here was a big community scrape last year. You guys can kind of see the area, and that's right in front of that stand. So you guys can kind of see the community scrape right here. There's kind of a trail that goes down along here, and then up here there's another major trail. The scrape was right here. You guys can kind of see the trail. It comes down, goes right here, and then off straight north. So this is another fairly simple setup stand. Not a whole lot to it. It's just a couple trails that run into it. But we're gonna head back to the last stand before we get to the last stand. There's 2 more stands we're gonna look at, and then the very back one is by far my favorite. So we'll get back there and check that out. We're here at the second to last tree stand we're gonna look at today. The stand itself is right here. It's just another real simple guide gear ladder stand. I really like them stands. They're very quick to easy to put together. They're, for a ladder stand, they're very mobile. You can carry them things just about anywhere. And they're easy to move, easy to put up, and they get you where you need to be in some tighter spots that maybe some stands wouldn't allow you to get into. So I really like them stands. They're probably one of the cheapest stands that you can buy, but they work for me, and that's all that matters. So we have this stand here. This is another stand that my girlfriend sits a lot. Right behind the stand, so the stand's right up there. So behind the stand here to the south is that big south bedding area. This is pretty much bumped right up to it. You guys can see how green it is, how open it is. It gets real thick and nasty in there. A lot of times you can tell the deer are coming because you can hear them breaking the ice in there. But there's a big major trail that comes out right here, where actually my girlfriend shot her deer last year. The trail comes straight up right through here, comes down right here, crosses, and it actually goes up into the corner. It will be the furthest northwest corner of this south bedding area. They go in right here, and then they come out right here. And then also this line behind the stand, where the stand butts up to this thick bedding area, there's a big major trail that runs parallel, so east-west, with the south bedding area back here. So, and that's a shootable, that is a shootable trail from that tree stand. Corey actually had a good opportunity to get a shot at about a 100-inch 8-pointer last year using that trail. That's actually the Snort Wheeze video that I did last year. Maybe I'll link that one right here if you guys want to go watch that one. So just using more edges, more terrain, habitat diversity to my advantage as much as possible with every one of these stands, and it worked for me pretty good. So we'll go check out the favorite stand right now. It's not too awful far away, but it's a little ways up here, and then we'll be done for the day. We're at the last and final tree stand. This is by far my favorite spot on this property. This is way up in the back. Hardly anybody gets back up in here unless you're pretty dedicated, because it's a long walk in the dark through all woods to get up in here. This is kind of an open hardwood stand. As you can see right here, this is my climbing steps up there. So this spot right here is so good because there's several major things that happen right here. There's, I'm going to say, 3 different types of habitat diversity right here. So once we get all the way up in the back here, I know that I said down there the major focal point of this whole property as far as hunting goes is the bedding area to the south. That's still the case here, except for here you have an extra bedding area that you're catching deer coming, a lot of deer coming in and out of, especially behind the stand and in front of it. You do get some deer that kind of go north-south in here, but the majority of the deer here are going east-west. There's a swamp pine tree stand down off this way. That would be towards the east. Right here where the stand is, it's all open hardwoods. It's kind of got some understory to it, as you can tell. To the south is that really thick bedding area that we like to call hell. It's terrible in there. It's so nasty and so thick. So to the south there's a really big, nasty, thick bedding area. So you got the big thick bedding area is one habitat, the open hardwoods here is another habitat, the swampy pine stand down here is another habitat diversity, and all three lines transition right in and around here. There's a major trail. I probably won't walk over there and show you, but there's a major trail that comes from the south bedding area to coming into this west bedding area that I have available over here. This property owner owns part of it, not much of it, but even right here, the next property line over, you're talking it's over 100 yards away. So it would be your northern west point of the south bedding area and your southern east point of the west bedding area. They kind of meet right here, and there's kind of an open spot in the middle, and this is the closest place for the deer to go back and forth without having to go through much open timber, and it catches them right here. Behind the stand here, I can show you this trail. It's right here. Coming out of the swampy pine thicket back here, there's a trail that runs up through here, but right here, if you guys can see it, the trail goes up, down through, and then it goes right down there into that dark timber, which is where the swampy pine stand is. And then right here there's another trail that comes off even further, but you guys can see this trail. I mean, you can see it all the way down to even down through there. That little mud spot goes right along here, and this trail right here comes up here. That other trail is right there that goes that way. So there's a converging point of two trails right here. Then they split off and they go this way. It goes right up underneath this pine tree right here, which always has a big scrape. You can kind of see where it was last year. Splits off, goes this way, right next to the stand that's in that tree right there. The other one, you guys see it there, goes off towards the west bedding area. It's a chore to get back here, but if you can get back here, it's more than worth the sit. I sat here all day one day last year, and I seen 8 or 9 different bucks. I linked that video in this video earlier. Go back if you haven't. If you want to go ahead and watch that video, go ahead and watch that video. It's a great video. We're done here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something. If you guys have any other tips or tricks or anything informative for me, go ahead, drop a comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel. I've got that goal of trying to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, and if you like the video, give it a like. Maybe hopefully you guys learned something, and maybe you guys got something that I can learn off of you. So I appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one.